Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Keeping It Real on Purpose, the podcast where we come together with real talk about real issues and struggles in life, relationships, and business, all on purpose. I am your host, Edna White, and today our guest is Marci Grossman, who is a author, a very new author with something that we all know and love or can really hate. But I'll let her tell you that. And she's also a speaker. Marci, welcome to Keeping It Real on Purpose.
Thank you, Edna. Excuse me. Thank you, Edna. I am so happy to be here.
Yes. So how do you show up in the world?
Well, I try to always show up 5 minutes early. I'm a CPA, and I try and help people understand their money and have a better relationship with it, and control their lives by owning their money.
Okay. So before the show, we were talking about your new project, your new book. Can you share a little bit about that with our audience?
Sure. My book is called Money Marci's Guide to Financial Literacy, and what it is a guide that helps people understand a lot of the various everyday financial topics that they will come across in their lives.
Wow. And so I know that you said have a better relationship with money. Can you share a little bit about the bad relationship that we have?
Well, sure, because some people must hate money the way they throw it around. I think of just, if you don't understand it, money is a tool.
Right.
And if you don't understand how to use your tools and to use them to get to where you want to go, to use them properly, then it's not a good and healthy relationship. And I think it is so important in our lives to have money be a tool that we understand and can use properly.
Right.
To get us to reach our goals.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we do have different goals at different times in our lives, especially when we start, making money when we're teenagers. Can you share a little bit about maybe some goals that maybe a teenager would have with money?
Well, sure. A teenager, depending on their situation with their family, might be buying their clothes or buying their car and keeping it insured. They might be paying for their dates and their social life. They might be saving for college or buying tools for whatever they think their future endeavors might be.
Right. So how can they have a better relationship? Are you saying that it's saving some money, or how can they have a better relationship to build wealth?
Well, by knowing what their goals are,
Okay.
and then breaking it down into what the financial component of those goals might be, then they can start to make a plan and start to set a budget so that they can reach that goal.
Okay. Well, you hear that, teens in the audience, if you're out there, set better goals, and saving is part of it, and putting things away, and even investing, would you say, Marci?
Absolutely. Investing, the biggest thing is people are afraid they don't have enough money to make it worthwhile to be investing. And I'm a big fan of the various mutual funds that are out there.
Yes.
A lot of the mutual fund houses will let you start investing with very small amounts of money. And because you're investing in a mutual fund, that small amount can grow. It can be diversified depending on the fund you invest in.
Okay.
And give you a huge start on whatever your bigger goals are.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now we're moving on from teenhood, and we're 25 to 30. Can you share having a better relationship with money at that age range?
Sure. Well, the question first off is, where are you living and where do you like to be living? Are you in your parents' basement? Are you in an apartment with 3 roommates? Are you in the start of getting into that personal relationship that may evolve into marriage and a family? And you're going to want to be putting away the money to get you toward those goals. And if you're moving out of your parents to an apartment, you don't necessarily need the huge down payment you might want for the house.
Right.
But you can see somewhere off in the future, you're going to be wanting to get that house. Maybe you'd been in a situation where you hadn't needed a car before, or now you're moving into some profession where you need a car that doesn't make a lot of extra sounds when you go from here to there. Sounds are not necessarily impressive to the people who want to feel that you are someone in whatever their professional sphere might be.
Right.
So those are all things to look at. Those are goals. Maybe you have student loans and you've got to focus on what is my plan for paying these off. Maybe you're putting off the house so that you can pay down the loan, or maybe you're just managing the loan payments so that you can build toward the house.
Right.
These are all intentional things. That's one of the most important things, is that if you have goals, it allows you to be intentional,
right,
and choose what's important to you, because what's important to me at 25 may not be what was important to you at 25.
Yeah.
And it's important to set your own goals, not just follow what someone else used as their goals.
Oh, that's very good. That's good. Because that is really good to worry about your goals. That's really good. I like that a lot. Okay, so now we're moving on with 35, 40. What do we think about, a better relationship with money there?
Well, at this point in time, you probably, if you're going to have a family, probably have that family and probably have that house, or maybe you're still working toward that house. But the big thing you should be thinking of is, if you haven't been putting away money for retirement before, you really should be doing that now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in my book I have, and on my website I have Excel sheets that show the importance of investing early.
Okay.
And how the earlier you invest, even smaller amounts, the growth that they can get from just that longer time of being investment, how important that is.
Oh, yeah.
So, the money you put away at 25 is worth more than the money you put away at 40, but the money you put away at 40 is worth more than the money you put away at 50. So at 40, you should be really taking that look and saying, okay, where am I at? What is my goal?
Right.
And am I on track to achieve that?
Okay. So now we're moving on from there. Okay? Moving on from the 40s. We're going to get to the 50s and the 60s. Now, what are we looking at to have a better relationship with money?
Well, now theoretically, you might be thinking more seriously about that retirement and what your retirement might look like.
Okay.
Because what it looks like will change what you need for it. It used to be the common rule was, I need X dollars to be able to retire.
Right.
And we've really wisened up, as well as Excel sheets and all of the software that's out there gives us better opportunities to really look at the data. And what you want to do is, instead of looking at how much money you need to have as your overall goal, is you want to say, what is my spending like now? And what is it I want it to be in retirement? Because for some people, retirement means taking that dream job, which, might be working at a music store for minimum wage for the fun of it, or working at a bookstore. Not that these aren't wonderful careers. They are wonderful careers, but not all of us have the skill set to make that a real career.
Right.
And so any of those passion projects, or maybe you're thinking, for my retirement, I want to travel, or I want to things that are more expensive than what your regular day-to-day life has been. And those are things you have to evaluate to determine what you need for retirement.
Right.
And those goals for retirement need to start getting more concrete at 50 and 60, so that it's not just, when you're 20, 30 years old, your goal for retirement is, I'm going to put away what I can afford, and I'll think about it later, but right now I'm just going to put it away and let it grow.
Right.
When you're 50 or 60, you need to be more concrete about what those needs might be, what your plans might be, what your health is, what your life demands are. You might still be caring for an older parent at that point in time. And all of those things come into play. Hopefully you've got a house, but at this point in time, maybe your kids are gone, or you see them going in the near future, and you want to consider whether you want to be downsizing.
Right, right.
And so all of those are things to think about.
Right. Great considerations. That's great. So, what is the favorite part of your book? Because I know that I took a walk through time regarding better relationships with money. What is the best? What is your favorite chapter in your book?
Oh, I think. Well, they're all my favorites, and I can't. It's like having a favorite child. I tell my children that whoever brought me chocolate more recently.
That's good.
I have a very short chapter about the importance of communicating.
Okay.
And I think that not enough can be said about how important it is to communicate with your partner about money.
Okay.
I think it should be a part of pre-wedding counseling.
Okay.
I think it should be something that you sit down at least annually, if not more often, to talk about the big money, the little money, where you are and what your goals are, because this is your life partner. You should have the same life goals, and financial is a huge part of,
of life.
Oh yes. Opportunities are.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that totally. I've seen relationships and even one of mine kind of go just end because of money matters, and money does matter. It does matter.
It definitely matters. It does everything. I've seen marriages where one partner brought in debt the other person wasn't even aware of.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They wouldn't have married them, but they would have made different plans.
Right, exactly.
Different expectations. And if you don't know, then imagine two people rowing a boat.
Exactly.
You don't get where you're going.
Right. You're just spinning around in a circle. Just totally in a circle. Well, that's great information. So where are you going from here? What are your next, big projects or your big plans? Because this seems like a great endeavor to, show up in the world and share all of this better relationship with money, and it's needed everywhere. What are your next big plans?
Well, right now I am putting together a teacher's edition that could be used in schools.
Very good.
I am working on an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some people who prefer to read their books that way.
Yeah.
And I'm putting together questions for book clubs so they can have discussions about my book and about money in ways that is not necessarily too personal for a book club. And I'm always collecting more stories for my next book.
For your next book. And what type of stories would that be?
Stories of people's financial challenges
and
victory.
Gotcha.
So in my book,
yes.
My first book, it has, many of the chapters have stories that people shared with me of financial challenges they had gotten through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think storytelling is an amazing way for people to learn.
Absolutely.
It's hard to learn from just a textbook, but
sure.
When you hear a story and that helps you put it into perspective,
sure.
It just makes it much more accessible. I think accessible may be my favorite word in the world.
No, I thought it was chocolate.
So that's my favorite food group. When my chocolate is accessible, then
that's it. You're in your heaven, right? You're in your heaven.
Oh yeah. But so I'm always collecting those more stories, because your story in your past, if I were to include that in my book, there's someone who would read my book and who would say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't understand what Marci said, but Edna's story made everything clear."
Yeah.
And that's just what I want to do. I don't know if I'll call it Revenge of Guide to Financial Literacy,
right.
or Guide to Financial Literacy Part 2, or whatever. It'll be something, and as I said, more stories. I'll probably cover some topics and areas I did in the first book, because there's always more.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's really great information. I'm glad that we were able to walk through this financial path, because I really like that. I really like what you offer, and I know that a lot of the world needs it, especially this generation here that doesn't know how to, about finances, doesn't have a love of money, just knows they have to spend it. So that's really good. I'm glad that you're doing this and showing up like that. How can my audience find you?
Well, I am easy to find because I am all over the internet. My website is www.moneymarci.com, and that's MONEYMARCI.
Okay.
My book is available on Amazon as both paperback and digital, and on Barnes and Noble it's digital. You can go to your library and request they pick it up on Overdrive or Hoopla, which are the library electronic book services.
Right.
TikTok, LinkedIn. If you look up Money Marci, you should be able to find all my sites, but my website has links to all of my social media.
Right.
And
you're also on Twitter. You're on Twitter as well, right?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn.
Okay.
I have a Facebook group that shares tips, and I blog via my website. So I am trying to spread financial literacy as far and wide as people want to learn it.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, that's terrific. Well, how I wanted to ask you now, Marci, is there anything you can give my audience to encourage them? Anyone that's either looking to start a business or wanting to step out into the world like you are in financial management or literacy? Is there any encouraging words you can share?
Oh, there is so much need for people in the accounting profession, from accounts payable and accounts receivables, clerks, bookkeeping, on up. So it is very learnable. It doesn't necessarily require, a 4-year degree to get into it, and every business needs it. So if you want to find a job where you're going to always be able to find a job, spend the time and learn how to do financial services.
Right. Awesome. Well, Marci, this brings us to the end of the show. Audience, thank you so much for listening. And we want to thank our guest, Marci Grossman, today for coming in. Money Marci, with the financial management and how to have a better relationship with money. Thank you again for being here, and we thank you, audience, for listening in. But right now, we're going to say bye for now. Both myself, Edna White, and my guest, Marci Grossman. Bye now.
Thank you.